So for our handsome Mr. Z, we're just going to do a little bit of some loose leash walk-in and maybe end with a little bit of play. So remember, you guys can pick left or right, or sometimes practice on both. I normally like to get my dogs comfortable being able to work on my left or my right. That way, if for some reason there's something gross on the roadway, or there might be something dangerous, and he says, I dropped that one, and I want the dog to switch sides, helping them be able to be comfortable on either side of your body to be very helpful. Ready? Zeus? So you'll see that as of right now, he's like, and again, I don't care whichever side he prefers for right now, is I'm feeding when Mr. Z is again by the leg. So in the beginning, if you're finding he's having a hard time with loose leash walking, I know I mentioned this in class when you guys were in on Tuesday, make sure to practice in environments that are conducive to him feeling comfortable and under threshold. So if we're always practicing on a real world walk, that means that most of the time the environment is going to be so exciting or overwhelming that your puppy is going to be set up for, sadly, failure. So remember, always think that if your puppy doesn't quite know what you're asking and now you're hoping they perform that behavior in the real world, you may be setting both you and your puppy up for failure. So make sure that you're, again, working the things you'd like them to learn, teach them what you would like them to do, and then start to get that comfortable in and around your home front. You're inside your home and outside in your yard or side yard. Ready? Find it. Because if we go right into the real world dynamic, imagine this just like with us. So let's say you didn't know how to drive a car, and I set you up in a Maserati or maybe a Bugatti, you could go crazy. The problem with some of those scenarios is if you don't know what you're doing and I set you up in a very powerful and fast vehicle, you may more than likely crash. And of course, in that process, you could harm yourself or harm others. I'm not saying that your puppy is going to necessarily harm you, but there could be moments where, since they don't know how to comfortably work on equipment, your puppy might pull and maybe they go into the roadway. Maybe your puppy pulls and you trip and you drop the leash by accident. So remember, there's lots of moments where your puppy is practicing something, they're getting good at it. So remember, pulling reinforces pulling. Doesn't matter what equipment you might be using. And remember, if you're using gear that makes it feel uncomfortable, painful, or scares the dog, you may be also creating associations with that discomfort and the world around them, or even with you. So make sure, as we've mentioned prior, use gear that doesn't harm in the process of learning or trying something novel. So for Mr. Handsome, you'll see he's wearing, again, his Y-shaped harness. Technically, Mom's is at home, and he's borrowing mine. So don't worry. I think we forgot to pack it. Obviously, he could have done it with no harness, but I want to make sure that when he does go out for the potty breaks or we're working some gear time, that he, for example, is not going to be pulling on his neck and potentially damaging his trachea or his thyroid glands or even his big, again, important spine and spinal cord. So with having a Y-shaped harness, none of the pressure is on those vital zones or sections that are very gentle and of course could be damaged. Ready? So when we're working with this loose leash walking, you'll see that a lot of times I start off sometimes with no equipment, in the sense of no leash, because for a lot of folks, it's one more thing to think about. So sometimes working off gear is easier than working with the equipment in the beginning for both you and the puppy. Then as you get more fluid with your dance moves and you become a more well-rounded, again, dance partners, you can then include your leash and rotate through both. Ready? So beautiful. So again, don't really mind which side he's on, as long as he's being soft and next to me. Yes. So very nice. What a smart boy. Good job. You could also do this game again where we've mentioned you could toss a little something off to the side, get him on purpose to get distracted, and then from there start meandering and see if you can get him to reorient, yes, back to your side. Nice job, sir. And then we'll do another little find it. And again, we'll see if he comes back and reorients back towards my leg. Yes, nice job. So remember, this game of coming back and forth between the environment and you, great way to start honing in on focus work for down the road, but also a great way to get your basics into your recall practice too. Yes, nice job. You'll also see my rate of reinforcement is rather high. I want him to find a lot of good value in trying to work this hard with me, and that these skills are valuable even from his perspective. Remember that no dog teaches another dog how to work on leash, or do they work on recalls or down stays. So a lot of times you want to think to yourself as all of these moments with your puppy as something that we're trying to create as almost work. So therefore we need to give a paycheck for this big, good effort that he's giving us. Nice. Such a good boy. So we'll give Mr. Handsome a little breather. I know he's getting a little bit tired. They've done a really great job today. We'll give him a little break.